Okay, so first of all, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, of course. So my name's Ruth. I've just graduated with a first in English literature this year. I'm actually from kind of near Lancaster. I grew up kind of Preston way, so it's only about an hour away. So yeah, it wasn't too big a move coming to university. I'm an enthusiastic photographer. I take a lot of photos of kind of landscape and wildlife, and I've used those kind of photographic skills in the student newspaper, which I've run for a year at Lancaster, called Scan. And yeah, other than that, I'm in the dance society. I've done all sorts of bits and pieces. I've absolutely loved studying literature.
You've done loads of stuff. That's really impressive. I'm sure you didn't even mention half of what you do either. So
oh, I've done far too many things. I've been very, very busy over the last 3 years.
Yeah. So which degree did you take in the department, and why did you choose that specific degree?
Okay, so I just did 100% English literature, and I did it because I really enjoyed studying English as a subject at A-level, and I really wanted to explore it further. Specifically, I chose the course at Lancaster because of the course itself and the material we cover. It's far more than just the kind of canonical literature that you expect to see on an English literature course, and I really liked that kind of diversity that we got to see. I suppose it's worth mentioning as well that in first year I minored in philosophy, because it was a subject I'd always wanted to try and never really had the chance through my education system. And I kind of tried it for a year. It was really good. I learned a lot, but it solidified for me that English was definitely what I wanted to do. So yeah, that was a really good opportunity for me to kind of try out new things, but still realize how much I love English literature as my subject. Yeah, I think philosophy helped a lot with kind of 201 and the theory module going into second year, because I already had that experience of thinking about theoretical texts and being able to read them and get the argument out of them. So that it did really inform my studies going through. It was just I preferred studying literature to philosophy at the time.
Yeah. And I think literature is a kind of form of philosophy as well. I think that a lot of literary writers think about the same questions that philosophers do. You know, what it means to be a human being in the world is basically what literature is largely about. So yeah.
Vice versa as well, because when you're studying philosophy, a lot of the time you're doing close reading of text, trying to figure out what the philosophers are trying to say. So it's kind of, they are quite interchangeable in that way.
Yeah. No, I think English literature does overlap with lots of other subjects in that way, and it's kind of way of engaging with lots of different ideas and psychology and sociology and all these different subjects. Yeah, brilliant. So the next question then. So what did you like about studying at Lancaster University, especially?
Okay, what did I like about studying? So I mean, I have to mention the friendly department. Like, our department has always been up for kind of one-to-one chats, putting on events, whether that be kind of quizzes in the bar, or if it's like additional lectures from guest professors and that kind of thing. It's just always such a welcoming and friendly environment, and yeah, they've always kind of been there if I needed to chat or if I needed kind of extensions because something was going on. Like, they were always happy to help. I think as well, not just in the department but as the university as a whole, they really encourage kind of independent learning, and that's kind of, it really informs all of the subjects that you go on to study. So if you get a set of essay questions and none of them really appeal to you, and you go to your tutor and say, actually, I want to write about this instead, can I? And they go, yeah, of course. Off you go. That means that kind of when it comes to writing dissertations and when it comes to doing those independent research projects, you've already got those skills. And I think that's a massive transferable skill. You know, if we're talking about employment after your degree, those kind of things can be so beneficial for the future. Oh, and of course, all the societies. Can't forget the societies. Yeah, there are over 150 societies at Lancaster. So whatever your kind of extracurricular interests are, there will be something for you to be a part of and be a part of a group of other people that share those interests. And if there isn't, then you can always just start your own society or start your own group. I think the example I'll give is LLA, the Literary Lancashire Award, which was in my second year with my friend Lara Orris. We decided that there was a kind of gap in the community, that we needed a young opportunity for up and coming writers to gain an accolade. So we created a creative writing competition with the help of the department and the university. Those kind of things, again, so beneficial for like transferable skills, but also just really fun. And yeah, really exciting to run. So yeah, it's been a busy time, but a really enjoyable one at Lancaster.
Brilliant. That's a fantastic answer. So it was a long time ago now, but do you remember what your favourite text was that you studied in your first year?
I've been thinking about this since you asked it. I think my favourite texts, I'm going to be sneaky and give two, was the week we did graphic novels and world literature. So we studied one called Fun Home and one called Persepolis. And I'd never really thought about graphic novels kind of seriously as a form of literature before. They just never really even come on my radar. They were kind of in the same group as comic books for me. But when we studied them, I really enjoyed them. And now they're not just kind of something that I study, but something I read for pleasure as well. So I've gone on to kind of find Blankets by, is it Craig Thompson? Other kind of things that are within that autobiographical graphic novel genre that I really, really enjoy. And have then gone on to inform my studies. So I took a module on literature and the visual arts in my third year, which I probably wouldn't have taken otherwise. So yeah, definitely the graphic novels.
Next session. So thinking about first years again, if you can remember back, but do you remember what the shift was like from A-level to university?
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of the shift from GCSE to A-level. It's that same kind of step up, but you're still in that familiar territory. So it just takes a little bit of time for you to find your feet. And I think that's why first year is so important. In the first year, your marks don't count towards your overall degree. So you have that chance to kind of experiment and find your footing in a way that you don't at A-level.
So there's a big step up in the amount of reading you have to do at university compared to A-level. So how did you manage that in your first year?
So this is a particular problem for me because I have dyslexia, and part of that is my slow processing speed. So I need a lot more time to read books than other people. I think my reading speed is something like 3/4 of or half the speed it should be. It's not great. So something that I found really useful was to use my holidays to read in advance. So I would kind of prioritize term 1 or term 2 reading either at Christmas or summer, and work through the reading list as much as I could before term started. And then if there were any texts that I thought I was going to use or work on for essays or seminars, then I can revisit them, and that kind of made them more familiar and easier to process. I think it's also worth remembering that compared to A-level, there's not as much kind of depth. And that's not to say that you still don't have to analyze in depth. It's that you're not analyzing every single word and sentence in a way that you have to at A-level to memorize all the content. It's far more kind of broad on a week-to-week basis, and then you go into the fine detail when you want to write about the text. So yeah, you don't need to kind of panic about having to memorize like 100 quotes per book per week. It's much more enjoy the reading and then work on the texts and talk about them in seminars.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, I think this sense of being a slow reader, I have a few students say that to me as though it's a real it's very detrimental, and I'm sure it isn't frustrating when you're trying to get through a long novel and everyone else is racing through it and you're having to go slowly. But often the best students are slow readers, and there's a real benefit to reading slowly, and I think most people probably read too fast is the problem actually. And when it comes to writing essays, you have to just read slowly.
Because I know that I'm a slow reader, it means that I read once and then will read again if I know I'm going to be writing about it. So therefore it's not just the first time I'm taking in the information, it's the second time, so I can go more in depth and make connections that I wouldn't have been able to make the first time. So yeah, that's
impressive. Yeah, I mean, I think really week by week you just have to get through it, don't you, and just read it for the seminar, and then you go back to the things you like, and like you said, you can then reread bits and pieces, think about them a bit more. But yeah, that's really, really helpful.